Welcome back to Goldenridge. Today we're finishing our Mountain Pass Highway and finally fixing our traffic nightmare. Plus, we're starting a new Foothills town along the Marshland edge. So, let's get to work. Alright, so last time we built this kind of rural intersection to divert highway or traffic from our outside connection over here towards our big urban area. So I did a little bit more detailing in between episodes, not too much, but I think this is looking great, nice and complicated and organized chaos. So if you saw that episode, thanks you so much for watching. And if not, hop back and check it out. And if you've been enjoying stuff, appreciate you guys subscribing and joining us along. And we're going to keep going. So today, I want to kind of keep moving out with this highway. So a couple of you guys had some great suggestions for this. One of which was that a lot of these mountain highways actually end up splitting up a little bit and not just being one kind of solid highway pass. So I think it would be fun to divide these up a little bit and let them kind of reconnect. And how necessary that is, probably not necessarily necessary, which is a really great use of the English language, but I think it'll be fun. So I think we're gonna do it. Let's see. I think maybe we can split up right around here somewhere. Maybe even just right here. I think will be good. And I actually do want to look into setting up a little bit of an off ramp somewhere because I do want to get something up here, though I'm not entirely sure what. But for now, let's delete probably about that there. And then we're going to go with one-way highway, so 2-lane coming off this side. And actually, let's go with the 3-lane and get back to what we already had. And then we can worry about what'll be different from that. So we're going to come in. Let's see. So we were coming up that way. So we'll come in into here a bit and bring it down and wrap around like that. And then we'll switch our direction so that everything will line up. And that'll work. And then we'll grab our 2. And looks like we're actually going to be coming off a little farther down. So let's take our 5-lane asymmetry, and I think we're going to want to break off right about here. So we'll add a node and then convert this where we want it and get rid of that. And we'll come back to our 2-lane, and we're just going to break this off a bit here and bring this back in a bit like that. So I think that is kind of fun. There's a little bit too much elevation change going on though. I don't want quite such a drastic change. So I think we're gonna raise, let's see how it looks going this way. I think we're gonna raise this bottom one up just a little bit. So let's, oop, that was not quite what I had in mind. So let's see, we can raise that up quite a bit. Not that bush. And then we can bring this down a little too. I think this ended up with a bit more elevation than we previously had. So we can pull that down a little And let's just grab a couple more of these. And like that. And that almost gives us a little more justification for this hill here. Just kind of tell ourselves they couldn't quite fit the highways where they wanted. So we can just I think we'll get these back with the key walls going like that. And then let's see how that's looking. Yeah, that's looking a little better. Clean up some of this tree stuff, whatever. But overall, I think that's working nicely and just kind of serves as a little, you know, just mixing it up for kind of for the sake of it, which I think oftentimes is not only fine, but kind of a good exercise just to when things are feeling like they make a little too much sense, just to mix them up a little bit, because, you know, the more you really look out, you know, the more you look on Google Maps and kind of see what's real out there, the real stuff is super weird. And, you know, it's like they say, you know, truth is stranger than fiction when it comes to movies and books and TV shows and stuff. But I think it's also true in the world of city building and infrastructure, where there's a lot of weird, seemingly unnecessary or you know, odd choices when it comes to the way roads are and bridges and all kinds of stuff. So I think when stuff is feeling too easy or too normal, you know, just mix it up and make it a little different. So I think that's looking great. And then something else that people talked about were runaway ramps for trucks, which I think is also a great idea. So let's see. We've got some grade there. We've got some grade there, but I think over here would be a good place for one of those. And so let's see. The best way to do this, I think, will be to use our slope tool, and we'll get it pretty small. And then, actually, I wonder if the slope, yeah, I guess the slope is probably what we want. So we'll start it up here, and right about there, we can kind of... These are interesting because they actually tend to go up from the high, you know, obviously, because you want to be kind of stopping the trucks. So let's just get rid of some of these trees here, and make sure that we've got, I mean, that's a bit of, make sure the runway really works, otherwise you're going off a real cliff here. So let's just kind of keep working this a little bit. And then from here, we can get a slope going a little smoother. And maybe we just raise this up a bit so that it doesn't feel like quite a cliff that it truly is. And then for this section, let's go ahead and get no key wall on the right side, left side. Yeah. So that we can get a little offshoot, and we're going to use our dirt road here. And I wonder if we even need like a real road. I mean, no trucks are really going to be using this, obviously. Don't want the key wall. So now the more I'm kind of thinking about this, and that's looking super janky, I think we're going to not actually make this like a real actual road. Let's just use some of these net lane decals here, or whatever you want to call these. Let's see. Kind of a railway ground might be a good one. Interestingly, those do get clipped a little bit. So maybe we use a... maybe we just use surfaces. Let's try that. So probably like a gravel. Something like this. I think what's really going to sell this will be some props, cones, and kind of service markers and stuff like that. But I do want to get this feeling like I want to make sure the ground is feeling, you know, right. So let's also get some of these surfaces in. And we'll go back to the gravel here and maybe just get a couple going just to kind of really create some variation here. I want to try and get as much of that green out. That's not looking too bad though. The slope is a little not quite as smooth as I realized. So let's go back to our slope tool here and kind of go from there and see if we can't get that looking a little smoother. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. All right, I'm going to go through here and detail here in what I can real quick, and then we'll check in. All right, well, I think that's getting the point across, right? I mean, you got your skid marks and your sand and your barrier walls and your cones and all that. I mean, I think that's what we got. I think it's not the greatest thing I've ever made in this game, but I think it serves its purpose. So I'm certainly open to suggestions if anyone has any thoughts. If there's any decals or props or anything that I'm maybe missing, I'm certainly open to that. But I am feeling fairly happy with that for now. So let's flip around and see if we can't get this highway connected to something. All right, so in order to have somewhere for our highway here to connect to, we're going to have to look at this little area here. And I was just kind of putzing around the other day and ended up with this little marshy area that I wasn't planning on building, so I was not recording. So sorry about that. I just was kind of, I don't even know, just kind of looking around, thinking about stuff ahead of this episode, and ended up with this. So I think what we'll end up doing is building kind of a Foothills type neighborhood and a little town kind of around this. Initially, I had thought about this being very industrial, but I think with the industry we're going to have over here and stuff, I don't know. I just wanted to do something a little different. So I really like the way that this kind of little marshy area has turned out. And it was kind of loosely influenced by the Delta in the deep San Francisco Bay, but obviously there's no like pine tree area there. This looks very kind of Tahoe Alpine Lake like, so it's a little bit of a blend of those two things. But what we're going to end up doing is building in a little town here. So let's start by getting rid of kind of all the trees in here. Just to give ourselves a little bit of room to think. And I'm going to pause it here because I think what we're going to do too is I'm going to cut the railroad line a little bit and actually try to have a little more fun with it. And let's see if we can't run it through the marshland area a little bit. I think this is the new bridge. It is. Is this just the double? Oh, it is. I mean, the problem with this is that we don't need it because it's not really high enough. Yeah, I don't think we'll use that here. I do want to find some place to use that, but I think we're just going to go with probably the regular bridge. Yeah, not that. That's also a 4-lane, which we don't want. So yeah, we're just going to stick with the regular track, which I think makes a little more sense anyway. But I want to cut it in. We will raise it up just a little bit. And kind of cut it through the marsh area a bit. I want to leave some space for a road here. So let's see if we just kind of find a nice place for it about there, maybe. And then from here, we can bring it, let's see, connect there. Oh, not with a road. Maybe bring it about here, and then we should be able to connect it like that. So I think that'll work, and then this should be fairly straightforward like that. Yeah, that'll work, and then we can just get rid of some of these trees that I had plopped down. I want that to be, I don't want any key walls on that. I just want this to be a little elevated bridge. And there it goes. So let's just get rid of these, and then we'll try that again. So, bridge. I had the wrong thing selected. So boom, to about there should be, yeah, that's what I wanted to get in there. And then I'll clean this up a little bit more later, but let's at least just get the trees directly off of there. And then we're gonna have to lower this a little bit to slope it, but for the most part, let's make sure that this is flat from there to there to there. That these are all at about the same height, and now they are. And we'll just get rid of that guy and that guy. All right, I'm gonna hit play again so that when the trains come through, they can actually go through. So we'll get that in there, and then this will be cool. So let's just speed it up here a bit since how the train actually is where we want it to be. But yeah, that's fun. Just a little elevated kind of train track. I'll detail up here underneath it, but let's get a little train station in here because I think we'll want that. We'll just get like a really small, medium. No, that's a little bigger than we're gonna want, I think. Yeah. Small train station. Yeah, just something like that. Almost got it. So we'll delete this section, and we might as well just delete that too, just to make it easier. And then we can drop this guy in there, and then continue this track on, let's see, right about like that, but not elevated. Sweet. So yeah, we'll have a little stop for folks here. So now we've got a stop here that the train is actually stopping at or turning around, not sure. And so then if we have this, our highway here coming in, it's tough because I don't want to have like this big highway intersection, but if we're going to have some kind of, and this whole thing was meant to alleviate this insane traffic over here. So I think what we're going to do is have this highway continue on and go along here, and then you can have some off ramps and we'll have it connect over there. So we don't really need the highway to wrap around all this. If you're going to take the highway, you can take our main bridge. This can just be more of kind of a rural area. So let's cut that off there a little bit and then take this guy and I think we're going to take it. Let's kind of see. We want it to connect over here. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of terraforming first, though. So just trying to think. I think we'll have the highway a little bit elevated up over the train track here. So I'm just going to like make kind of a flat kind of wrap around zone here, kind of like that. And then we'll have this kind of cut in like that, and kind of through here. Actually, we're going to go into here. And then come out over there. So let's just smooth this out a bit. And this needs to come up because I just don't like those crazy sheer kind of rock walls. Just kind of play with them a little bit so they have a little bit of a variation to them. Otherwise, I think they'd look real fake when they're just huge and straight and flat up. So we'll take this, and I think we're going to turn this. I think for here we can go with the 4-lane. We'll have that. Oh, sorry. We want the 4-lane. Yeah, there we go. And have this kind of coming around here a bit. And up there. And something like that. And then through this little valley area, we can come into about here, turn, and then kind of come straight and hit a turn here and kind of come out there. We are going to have to figure out with this intersection going how to merge all that, but that can be a problem for another day. I think for now, I just want to get these, kind of get this running like that, and then turning up the hill here. Not quite that much. Let's actually now switch back to our 5-lane and bring that kind of down a little too far, actually. Bring that down to about there, and call that about good. So yeah, that'll work, and then we can kind of build our town in around there. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so off-ramp wise for this, I think we're just gonna kind of integrate this highway into the town, just with some intersections. I think we've got enough space on both sides to run kind of 2 intersections that will serve as kind of the outline, for lack of a better word, for this town. So we're going to take our terraforming, and I want to just kind of smooth this out a bit. And I think we need to smooth quite a bit of this out. Actually, I'm going to go back to the default brush here, because let's just kind of ease this out a little bit, which will help us just to transition from our highway to our town while maintaining just the slightest bit of, you know, kind of elevation. Almost feels like not quite the right word, because I don't know that we're actually creating elevation, but, you know, just rather than smoothing it out and lowering everything. So we'll do that, and then we'll take a 4-lane road. Let's see kind of where we want. I think this one will kind of serve as our main artery here. So we're just gonna kind of run this. Actually, let's figure out where this is gonna kind of run right in through here, I think. So, you know, we'll have to run this. Actually kind of want to run it like that, and then turn that down into there, and then let this just kind of give that guy there, and then we'll go with a little on this other side. We'll go a 2-lane road. Well, we'll do a 2-lane road here for kind of running our train station in, and I don't really want this to serve as a main thoroughfare, so I wonder if we just kind of do something like this. So there's still easy access to the train station, but you can get around a little bit. So I think that works. And we can bring in this, kind of bring this over to here. And then for over here, oh, this got all chopped up. There's one brush. I forget which one it is. Is it this one? No. There's one brush that has, if you're using it, be careful with it because it's good. I don't think it's this one. Now I'm forgetting which one it is, but it's got a weird sharp thing that shows up way far away, and that's what happened here. When I was building this got all chopped up by it. So I know that's not the most helpful thing because I'm not finding which brush it is, but if you're using a different brush and noticing some stuff getting weird way far away, there's just something going on with the shape of that brush that you know, is affecting stuff farther away than it seems. So that's nice and smooth now, and I think we can just take this whole road, this 4-laner, and kind of bring that up through here, run it all the way, and we'll go to about here, and let's see, just kind of boom, 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 and then run that for a second, just maybe about there, before kind of do it a bit like this. Might change once we figure out a little more what's going on down there, but I just wanted to kind of get that in. We can get another train station in here, and we'll build some stuff out there. So I'm gonna go through and lay some roads down real quick, just a quick baseline, and then we'll come back for some building placement stuff. All right, so that's just kind of a basic little road layout here. These are all just going to be houses. Kind of thinking of this as just a little suburban area. Some layouts like this, or you know, there's stuff like this in Daly City in South San Francisco, and kind of up and down the peninsula. So doing a little bit of that stuff there, and then back to here. I think I also want to sprinkle in a bunch of houses, single-family homes, kind of around this. But I want to create a little off-ramp here that I think could be kind of fun. I'm not totally sure how it's going to work, but what I was thinking would be either to have something that kind of goes across like this as a, you know, a bit of an off-ramp thing, and maybe we'd even use the National Road here, or you know, we can just kind of do something here, or because of the elevation we're getting, maybe we do something down that brings people more down to the level, although I do want to have kind of people up. So I do like the idea of crossing across this, but that almost feels like we're... Oh, that does look pretty good though. I do... That way we get 2 overpasses. I think that makes sense. I don't know if I'm going to quite do it like that, but I am liking something like that. So I think let's try and do it a little farther up here. Maybe like there. And I think we have enough clearance. And we will clear these trees off here. Let's get rid of some of these. Off-ramp wise, we'll just take a couple of these, and I don't think we'll want elevated. This is going to be interesting to say the least, but something basically like that, except going the other way. And then let's see. This one can kind of come like that, and then we can, just for here, I think we can change this to a 2-lane. Let's try and get this nice and lined up. That we will want key walls on these, and you know, probably on these too. They just tends to make a little, some of these. Oh, not sure quite what we have going on here though. Maybe we need to extend this a little bit. Oh, there's some real jank there. So let's go ahead and try that again. We'll just kind of, yeah, that really, there we go. And then we'll try, just, oops, we're gonna need the round one. And something like that'll work. I'm just going to draw this one again to smooth it out. Just, like I've said this many times, but kind of once you know what you're going to do, you end up with kind of the final, just redoing it once you actually know where you want it to go to make it nice and smooth. So I think that works. And then coming back is going to be a little trickier since we've only got the two lanes. I'm not going to want to cut it down to 1 anywhere. So we'll see that we might break our lane. Whoa. That was the wrong button. Okay, so anyway, we might end up having to we're just going to like nothing happened. Nothing at all. Let's get this 80% out of here. That was insane. We might have to break our lane math rule that we kind of stick to with, you know, making sure our off-ramps are all nice, because I think this one is going to end up being just one like that. That looks kind of terrible though. But let's see. And then going this other way, I think we might go with the slope tool here and just kind of give ourselves a little lane, and something like that I think will work, and we'll just reverse that. So that one actually looks okay. Let's try this one again here. Maybe we try that again with the slope tool and just kind of move that in and bring this. That's a little better. And I think we can see if we can't massage this a little bit. Oh. Just kind of pull this in. Oh boy. Boy, that gets sketchy quick. It is much easier when you have that third lane. So let's just see if that makes any sense to kind of add that there. Obviously, we'll get rid of that because there will be no U-turns, but yeah, it just ends up fitting so much smoother. So let's get rid of unsafe and absolute. Can you imagine making a left turn like this across a highway? That is crazy business. Oh, that gets real weird. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes once cars start maneuvering on it. This actually worked out, I think, just fine. The elevation thing is a little weird, but that's just it just doesn't do well with you know, when that has to kind of balance a couple of split with elevation here. So let's see if we can just do that to get the trees gone, and that does work. So somebody mentioned that in the comments. Appreciate that. All right, I think that actually looks pretty great. So I'm gonna go through here now, and we'll just drop in some real simple kind of mountain neighborhood roads here.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that will work. Yeah, I just wanted to have kind of a little highway, edge of town, little neighborhood, just entirely residential right here off the highway. So I think that is real dense forests, and got the water tower kind of right here on the highway, and Yeah, we might fill this in with a little bit more trees. Just this guy's a little close to the highway, but that is about what I had in mind. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to do this real janky for now. I'm going to connect this highway here to the roads somewhere, just to say that so that some of this traffic can get through. So forgive me for what you're about to see, because this is going to be real bad. So I mean, we're just gonna go straight through like this. We're just gonna go straight through like that. We're just gonna do that. Yep, I know, it's bad. But we should start seeing some traffic. Oh, and there it is. We're getting our first traffic here. These are people that are trying to get to the city and don't now have to go all the way through this. So let's take a look at the traffic we have now. Looking absolutely insane all through here. And yeah, I mean, bumper to bumper, both ways, 6 lane. I mean, this is brutal traffic. So we did have a little bit of flooding, as you can see. I did readjust some of where I have the water spawning, so hopefully that is receding. This was all water, so it is receding a bit, but let's check back here in a second and see if this is being relieved at all. Well, I let this run for a few minutes and it is popular. People are really using it. We got lots of traffic on this new highway here, as you can see. It's about 10:30 in the morning, and yeah, people are really using it. So going all the way into town, I think we now have a little bit of traffic here, just of people trying to get off. So we're gonna have to figure out, how this all works and how it integrates with this. We might reevaluate this and kind of make this all into one thing. Oh yeah, we've got a whole new traffic situation. We got to filter this onto the highway, not onto the streets. So, and then if we come, let's see, down to Mulberry, it's looking better. I mean, this time of day is not so bad. There's still a bit here, but it's better, I would say. It's not the entire length of Mulberry Crossing. This is, it's not entirely relieved, but it's quite a bit better. And also, we just got a whole new area that I think is pretty sweet. So loving seeing all this traffic here. I think this little split area looks super awesome. And watching this kind of do its thing is super satisfying as well. Kind of just sit here and just watch all the cars going in all the different ways. But yeah, let's head back to our new town there and get some of the commerce down and just some of the basic stuff and maybe a little bit of detailing. So I let a little more time go by, and it does appear that we have solved this traffic problem. If you look all the way down through Mulberry past this burning car, we're looking pretty good. A little slow here, but that's only because of a road maintenance vehicle. So we have solved this traffic problem. However, we have created another one. But this is only a temporary thing. That's super gnarly traffic, but that's only because we only have it, and there's traffic a bunch here. That's because this is the only way to access it. So In a future episode, we will kind of replace probably all of this and make a little more sense. So there shouldn't be any traffic there. But to finish up today, I just wanted to get this little town going a little bit. So let's go ahead and look in here for some commercial stuff, because I think that's a lot of what this is going to be. There we go. And we're going to make sure that this is low commercial. And I really do some of the generic stuff is actually, the low generic commercial is actually pretty good. But let's actually start with some of the northeastern low stuff, because I kind of like the idea of this being a little old school, at least in some parts, maybe just along the middle street here. Just like these kind of buildings. We can probably scoot that down. And just getting some of this stuff in here. Let's see. Get one of these guys, and we'll adjust these a bit so that they feel like they fit our space a little more. So just kind of get that over there, put this guy on the corner, and move these down. So we're just going to get a fair amount of little commercial stuff going on in here. So that's kind of our main strip, and then I think we'll get away from the northeastern stuff and get back to some more of the more modern stuff here that can kind of act as our some level of gentrification or just modernization, really. Some of these more car dealership looking businesses and just stuff that looks a little less old school. Is that going to fit there? Just barely. Maybe we can move that stuff over. I do love these storage units. I think we can get a couple of those in there. And this is like a car dealership looking kind of place. And then I think we're just going to go back to some of the kind of EU, original vanilla EU and North American stuff, just to round out a bit of this kind of. I think this is a really great spot for gas stations, right along this kind of highway. And here we go. And then probably at this intersection too. These are just the EU ones. I don't know if there's really much difference between the North American and the EU gas stations, but we will get a few of those in. So just kind of right there. We'll scoot this over a little bit and get these guys right out here. Yeah, right about there. And then I think we can scoot all of these down, have room for this guy. So yeah, that's already starting to come together a little bit. I'm going to go through here real quick and just fill out a little bit more of this. right, so that's a decent start. We'll come back through here and get some more detail going and get this filled in. Let's, while we're here, get a train stop in. Cargo rail. So we should be able to just pull this line in. So we got to stop there. And yeah, I think this is nice. This is a good little town here, and we certainly have a lot of traffic. Let's hope that's exactly what I was worried about, though. Is people, I don't know why. I guess if you're going this way, even though that doesn't actually go anywhere, but that's interesting how many people are going that way. I also wonder if that's just because people are maybe moving in, and we'll see if this persists, and if so, maybe we just end this road here, even though logically you shouldn't have to get on the freeway. If you live here, you know, you shouldn't have to come all the way around to go to the store or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think this is doing what it needs to be doing. So we will leave it there for now. Thanks everybody for watching and for subscribing, and I will see everyone next time. Thanks. Bye.